Hey everybody, it's Debbie O'Neill of Scrap Me Quick Designs and the Let's Learn Cricut Explore Facebook group. And recently, some of us bought the July digital mystery box, and when we did that, there were 4 different image sets, and one of those image sets is Rob and Bob A Very Merry Christmas, and it's a bunch of cards and a gift card sleeve. And there's not any directions from Cricut on how to put these together right now, and so I volunteered to make a video for you guys. So here you go. Um, so this is Rob and Bob, A Very Merry Christmas. It was exclusive to the July Digital Mystery Box, which you can still purchase. And as of right now, on July the 24th. Anyway, so these are their cards. So I did a search. How did I find these? After I purchased it, they're in my Cricut.com account, so therefore they are in my Design Space account. So when I log into Design Space, I came over here to cartridges and I did a search for Rob and Bob, that's the designer, and then A Very Merry Christmas, because that's the name of the image set. When I did that, then it comes up and here are the images that are part of this image set, and we're going to work with the card first. So let me show you that. So I'm picking this one with the cute little Santa on it because I love Santa. And the card's going to come in, okay, into Design Space. Now, if you look up here, the measurements for this card are 8.57 inches wide, and it is 6 inches high. Now, you'll notice that there is already the score line is here for you, so you will need your score tool to make the cards. So make sure you have that. And but if you did this, what would happen is if you just did it based on the size that it came into, this card would end up being 4 4.25 wide, and it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and it would be 6 inches high. Okay, so that is not a standard card size. It's a little bit of an oversized card size. So if you were trying to put this in a regular envelope, it may not fit for you. So what I wanted to do was show you how do you make the most common size cards, which is what they call an A2 size. And an A2 size card is one that is 4.25 inches wide, so from the score line over. So it would be 4.25 inches this way, and it's 5.5 inches this way, the height, okay? But, of course, when you put it on your Cricut mat, it comes in completely flat, as if you had opened that card up on your desk and flattened it out, all right? So we have to remember that. So what you want to do is we're going to change the dimensions for this card because we want the finished front of the card to be 4.25. We need to double that. So 4.25 times plus 4.25 will be 8.5. Okay, so I'm going to change this width measurement to 8.5. And then my height measurement, I want it to be 5.5. Okay, then that's going to make this, and then I'm going to walk this so I don't do anything else with it. Okay, so now my card will be, when I cut this out, it will be a standard A2 size card. All right, so that way if you use a standard A2 size envelope, which is the normal smaller size envelope that you can purchase, or if you make an envelope, you'll know that this is a standard A2 size card and you'll be able to do that. Now, you can also, the next size card that's most popular, and I'm just going to take this one and duplicate it here real quick. And I didn't do that, I deleted it, so hang on a minute. I'm going to undo. I didn't mean to hit delete. I meant to hit duplicate. So here we go. All right, so now there's 2. And I'm going to make this second one. I want this card to be 5 by 7. Okay, so this card needs to be, the front of the card will be 5 inches wide and it'll be 7 inches high. So when I go to do this card, I'm going to remember that it's flat on my Design Space screen, so I need to double the width of my card. So if I want it to be 5, then it needs to be 10 inches wide. So I'm going to open this up, the little lock, and then I'm going to make this 10. okay? And then I want it to be 7 inches tall, so then I'm going to change that to 7 and hit enter. And then I'm going to close my little lockup here. And now this card, when you cut it out, will be a 5x7 card. So then you'll know that that'll fit in a 5x7 envelope. Okay, so those are the two most common sizes of cards. So I wanted to show you those two. Right now we're going to work with the regular, the A2 size, the 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 card. So once you get your card size to the dimension, now you'll notice I didn't ungroup this card at all. I left it exactly all grouped together. It came in grouped together. I left it grouped together. The only thing I changed was the height and the width of the card. That way my image on the front of the card will stay proportionate to the card size. Okay, so that's really important not to ungroup it. Now, here we go. We've got it all. It's already in the layers panel. It lets you know what colors you need. You know, you can change that to whatever colors you prefer. But we're just going to stick with the same general colors, which is gold, red, black, and white. And then I used a kind of a ice blue for the background. And this card, once you start to put these cards together, you'll see how easy they come, and I'm doing a separate video to show you actually assembling it. But how can you determine which layer is which? Okay, now the thing that I like to do is once I size my image, I'll keep that image in the same, and then I'll do a duplicate. Okay, so I'm going to duplicate it. I'm going to move it over here, and on this one I'm going to ungroup it. So the second one I duplicated, I'm going to come up here to my layers panel and I'm going to ungroup it. Okay, now what I can do is I can start taking each piece off so I know what is what with my images. So I know that this is a liner piece. This is the blue is going to be my outside piece, and this white will be my liner piece inside. So when I go to cut this, I know that I'm not cutting individual snowflakes out to put on the front of the card. There is a liner, a white liner inside this card. Okay, so that's one thing. The other thing is, if I want to know what order these images would come off in, or I would be layering them on, I will just keep this off to the side when I go to assemble it, and I can look on my mat, my digital mat here while I'm doing it, and I know that this is a separate piece from the red piece of the Santa because it comes apart separately. So this is going to be a piece, and his little cuff's going to be a piece, and then I can start just kind of moving these over. Now you'll notice with the Robin Bob images that a lot of their image detail is already welded for you. So it's already grouped on your card and welded, so it's going to cut all in one piece, and you're just going to layer it on top of the next layer under it. Okay, so that's nice. So all of these are not separate little pieces you're going to have to add onto this box. It'll all come as one, it'll cut as one piece. Okay, and so then you'll have the next layer, so you know that those two layers will go together. Okay, and then this is the background that everything's going to go on. This piece right here, you'll know that. And then Santa's face is actually a separate piece, and it looks like a teddy bear, doesn't it? And so we know that that's going to come here. So you'll start seeing the different pieces. Okay, so that's how I can figure out sometimes if I'm not quite sure what order things are going to go in on my card, I'll go ahead and cut out, I'll put my first card on the mat, I'll cut that, I'll size it the way I want, and then I'll cut it. And then when I go to layer my images, I'll put a second layer on here and ungroup it, a second image on here and ungroup it, so that then I can pull the layers apart and know what order everything goes in. So that's kind of just a little tip that I have for you on how I determine that. There's another way you can do this, is if you have a one of the iOS devices in Design Space installed, you actually, there's a trick for that too, and I'll show you all that in a different video. So here we go. So we've got this. I'm going to cut it out, and then we're going to assemble that in the next video. But there is another image that I wanted to show you guys. So on the Robin Bob cartridge, so I'm going to go back into images, And I love the fact that the new Design Space 3 lets you keep whatever image set you were working with. It stays up there and you don't have to go back and search for it again and then pull it back up. So I love that. All right. Sorry, a little infomercial. All right, so we're going to work on this pocket card, and one thing I wanted to talk to you about is here is your little eye icon that'll tell you the name of that. So this is Cup of Good Cheer gift card set. So this is to put a gift card into a little pocket that then you can give, okay? And I've highlighted it so it's got the green bounding on it. I'm going to go insert and it's going to come into my Design Space mat. Now when this image comes in, it is already sized to a great size for you to cut out and be able to use the pocket card, okay? So for this one, I am not going to recommend changing the dimensions any. It is an actual really good size, and I will show you how we're going to assemble this in the next video. But I do want to point out that this is writing on this tag, so you will need to have a Cricut black pen or whatever complimentary pens that you use in your Cricut Explorer. You'll need to have your pen, and of course you'll still need to have your scoring tool out like we did when we made the card, okay, because it's going to score the lines for us, and that's going to be really important. So in the next video I'm going to show you exactly how, the next segment, I'll show you how we put these together. Hey everybody, it's Debbie O'Neill again, and I was going to show you how I put together the Robin Bob cards from the July Digital Mystery Box images, and this is Robin Bob A Very Merry Christmas image set, and there were several cards and there was a gift card. So I'm going to show you how would you assemble these. Some of y'all were asking me that question. So the first thing you will need to know is you will need to have your score tool for your Cricut Explorer when you send this image over. I've already shown you in the other video how to size the card. So, but you want to make sure you have your score pen for your Cricut Explorer, because it is going to do your division or your score line on your card. Now what I've done was I sized this card so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2 inches. So that'll be the finished size of the card, but of course it is actually a bit longer than that this way because of course we're going to fold it in half. So this is the front of the card. Okay, now you'll notice that there's already some cutouts on the card front. All right, and then you have a liner piece. So that liner piece is just a white liner, and it also has the score line on it. So I'm going to fold that and score that. So I've got these two pieces, and they're going to fit inside each other just like this. Okay, so I'm going to line that up, make sure it fits good, if you guys can see that. And then what I want to do is I'm going to add some adhesive to the card. Now that I've got it kind of lined up, made sure it was going to fit, and I like to do the back piece first, and so here is my fold and here is my card, the liner, and I'm going to line that up. I've got adhesive on the back of it, and I'm going to line this up right along that fold line, and there's a little bit of trim that you'll see around the edge from the background of the card. So I just lined it up along that, and now I've got the back of the card is adhered. Okay, so then I'm going to do the front of the card. Now because this card has a cutout on it, I don't want to put adhesive where I'm going to see it around the cutout. Okay, so I'm going to be very careful about where I add my adhesive on the front of the card to hold it together by avoiding those cutouts. Okay, so I've added some across here, a little bit over here, down here, and around the side here, and then I'm just going to fold that over, press that down really well, and now I have my card is ready for me to stamp a sentiment on the inside or write a sentiment with my Cricut, and then or just handwrite something. And now I'm going to decorate the front of the card. Okay, so I have all the Robin Bob pieces for this card cut out, and like I showed you in the other video, everything was sized at the same. I did not ungroup the card when I sized it because I needed all the images to be the correct size to put on. So you'll start with the background piece, which will be this piece. Now I'm going to pop this up a little bit with some foam tape. So I'm going to assemble this not on the card but off the card. Okay, so you will have these two shapes. Okay, this one I used is a gold shimmer paper, and then I have some red Cricut glitter paper, and these are going to be adhered together. Okay, now the interesting thing about Robin Bob Images is instead of each of these pieces being separate pieces, they have already welded these shapes together for you, so that actually makes putting your cards together really easy. So I'm just going to use my Close to My Heart Bonding Memories glue. It's a dual action glue pen with a chisel tip on it, and that is what I use to adhere my pieces together, because I get great control over where I'm putting the adhesive, and I'm just dotting this on, and I'll show y'all in a minute. When it goes on, it's blue, so you can see where it's located, which is always helpful to make sure you've got it in the right spots. And then when it dries, it dries clear. So that makes it nice to see. So let me see if I can show y'all that real quick. Okay, so here is, I've just got dots of glue, if y'all can see that on there, probably shiny in the camera. So then I'm going to adhere this to the liner piece, the background piece here, and I'm matching that up using this rectangle on this piece, and then the rest of it kind of falls right into place on top of the rest of the background image. Okay. Okay, so now I've got this piece on, so I'm going to go ahead and add this to my card image here. Oh, actually we want to do something else. We're gonna add, I forgot to add this. Your Santa face will need to go on, but you have this piece first. Okay, so I know it looks like a little bear face, but when you add it underneath the Santa, it now looks like Santa. Okay, so we've got this top layer of the Santa, which is white. So I'm going to add some adhesive just around on the face of Santa, and then add my top piece of the white on top of that. Okay, so I've got that added on, so it looks like this. Okay, now this piece is actually going to fit inside of this when we put it together. So it's easier to go ahead and lay this piece down. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and add this one to my background. And I'm just going to add some of my glue pen around here. I'm going to go ahead and add in my Santa piece here. Okay, so we've got the Santa face glued onto the background, and then you have a couple of other pieces. Now, this piece there's two pieces that are part of the Santa outfit, and they look like this. Okay, now I cut mine out of glitter paper. It was on the same image set of this red with the bird and it was part of that same cut image. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and add the red to the Santa hat. And this is all called layering. Some of y'all are new to Cricut or working with layered images and you weren't quite sure how to put it together. So you're just going to match these up. And now you have the top of the Santa hat is on. Okay, so look, it's starting to come to life when you start adding all these layers, it makes it come to life. And then we're going to add in our top layer piece. Okay, and this little Santa head fits right inside there. But what you want to do is you want to make sure you're lining up where his scarf is over here and down around the edge of this. Okay, so I always kind of line it up, make sure I've got it where I want it, and then I'll take it off and then I'll add some glue. So I'm going to add glue to the background piece. Okay, because this, I know that that is where the image is going to go fit on here. Just add that on there. So I just added, y'all can probably see it better on this black, but you can see I just added the glue on there, and now I'm going to add my layered piece on top of that, and I want to just make sure that I'm matching all my edges up with the background piece. So I found it easier to do the scarf first, since that one needed to be lined up correctly there, and then I can just push the rest of this on. I want to make sure his this is lined up with his legs there. Okay, and so then you're going to have this piece, okay, and you're going to have a little white piece, this little white rectangle, and that actually fits on the end of that red piece, and that becomes the cuff of his coat sleeve. Okay, now this piece I am going to pop up with some glue, some foam tape, but first I need to add some adhesive to the back of that little white piece to make his cuff on his coat sleeve. Okay, so I'm just going to line that up and add that on there. It'll take a second for it to grab. Grab better to my finger. Move that over. Okay, so the little white piece goes on top of the glitter. Okay, and then I'm going to add a little bit of foam tape to the back of this. And I'm just using some close to my heart foam tape. You can use whatever foam tape you want, but I'm going to add a couple little snips of this, and I'll hold this up and show you in just a second. Okay, so I've added a couple of little snips of foam tape to the back of this. Now I'm going to take the liner off, and then I'm going to add it right here on the image is where you see where the coat sleeve would be, and I'm going to line this up right there, and the curve of that fits around his beard. Okay, so now it's dimensional. You guys can see that. See, now it's dimensional. His arm is kind of popped up from the base of the card. Okay, so that's it for the image, and then all you have to do is put the image on top of your card. So there again, you can either pop it up or glue it on, whatever you prefer. I'm going to actually pop it up just because I think it looks a little bit better than that, better popped up. And I'm just adding a few little snippets of the foam tape to the back, and I'll hold this up and show you where I put it. Okay, so I've got some foam tape on the back, and I need to put a tiny little piece there on the bird just so it sits up nicely. Okay, and then I'm just going to take that liner off of the foam tape. So you would do this for any of the Robin Bob images from that image set, or when you're making any Cricut cards, they're all going to go together pretty similarly. You would just layer the images, and then you can choose whether or not you want to add dimension to it by adding foam tape to it. But this looks really cute, just kind of set right here on the front of the card, and with it raised up a little bit on the card front, it just looks so cute. Okay, so this is the Santa card that's in the July digital mystery box, the image set from Robin Bob, and it's a very Merry Christmas. Super cute, right? Okay, now the other thing that's in that image set is a tag. It's for a gift card. Okay, so I wanted to show you how you put this together because some of y'all have not put these together before. And so there is a pocket that you will have cut out. And there is also a inside piece, which would be where you could lay the gift card if you wanted, or you can write a note, or you could add more embellishments on the front of this if you wanted. But it's going to go inside of our pocket. And then this is the decoration for the front of the pocket, which is a little coffee cup. And then there is also a tag. So it says cup of cheer. So this would be really cute for if you were going to like give like Starbucks gift cards or things like that. Would be really fun. To do this, you will need some a tape runner, and I'm going to use what I call, it's score tape, and it's a double-sided sticky tape, just because it's going to hold these pockets together really well. So if people are pulling and tugging on it, getting the inside out, it's not going to fall apart on them. So I do recommend this. There's other brands too, but I like the score tape brand. And then you will need some type of thread, or this is twine, that we're going to use to tie our tag on. And of course you'll need a little pair of scissors, and of course I'm going to be using some foam tape and my bonding memories glue. Okay, so that's what I have out that I'm going to put together. So when you cut this out, you will have used your score pen. So it's going to score a line here, and it's going to score a line here on your cutout, a line here, and a line here. Okay, it is also made two little slits here on the front of that, which is where the sleeve's going to slide into that. So what I want you to do is we're going to fold this down. We're going to fold all of that in, okay, so that these lines are on the front of the card. Okay, so all of those are going to be folded in. I'm going to flip this over now, and this flap actually will become the flap for the front and will slide into this little piece here. Okay, so we're going to put this together. So basically, if you have your shape like this side has the lines on it. This is a folded edge, so I folded this in. I folded the bottom in, and this little flap is going to go on the front, so we're not going to fold that one down right now. But what we're going to do is we're going to create the little pocket here, so that when we fold this over, this will actually stay together, and you're going to slip this piece that you cut out into here. Okay, so that's what we're doing. And I like to use the double-sided tape like I mentioned a minute ago, because when you have things when you put together paper craft projects where you're going to be tugging on them, and a little bit more than a card, something where you're going to be sliding things in and out of it or whatever, or 3D paper craft projects, I really like to use the score tape, because I know that's going to hold it really secure. Sometimes your tape runner is okay for just putting things down, but it's not as great for holding it together when it's a 3D object or a pocket kind of thing. So I'm just going to pull the liner off of my Score Pal tape there. The other thing about the Score Pal tape is that you saw that all I had to do, I didn't even have to get my scissors out. I can just cut it just tear it with my fingers, which is nice. Okay, so I'm taking the liner off, and I'll show you in a second if I get the liner off of there. Okay, so I got the liner off, and I've got these two folded over, and the Score Pal tape is on this side, and then I'm just going to fold this over. Okay, so I folded that over. I'm going to flip it over now, and so now I should have those the slits are in the front of the pocket, and then this flap now will be tucked into that pocket. Okay, so that's how you create the base part of this. And then you're going to have this pocket, this card, which you can write a message in. You could slip the gift card in there. Let me see if I have one laying here. I usually do. Okay, so I could put a gift card in here, I could write a note or whatever, so it's going to go in here. Then you're going to slide this into, so this is the card for your little gift pocket, okay? So you'll notice that both of these have a hole in that top corner, okay? So when you fold this down and you tuck that little flap into the slit, the bottom slit there, you would actually line those up so that the hole would be through, you would be able to see the hole all the way through, okay? That's where your twine and your tag will go. And to make the tag, your Cricut will prompt you to put in a Cricut pen or a pen for you to write cup of cheer on here, okay? So it's already programmed, so it will prompt you to put the pen in, so when you do that, it'll write it on there for you. And then we want to add our tag. I cut a length of twine and then I just folded it in half, and I'm going to slip this on here. Okay, so then I'm just going to make a little knot here and fold this. I can make a little bow. You don't have to make a bow. If you don't want to make a bow, you could just tie a little knot there. Hold on a minute. Anyway, we're going to leave it like this for the moment. Okay, so you can just have some cute little twine or thread or whatever, and that's going to be this, okay, on your card. All right, and then you're going to have your decoration, which is the cup. So you'll have a cup that you cut out, and then this is the little snowflake that's going to go on the front. So this piece, you're going to use your glue pen and add some glue to the back to be able to hold this on. Okay, then I'm just going to line that up, and where the circles are on here is where you're going to line up the green image. Okay, so then you have the little snowflake, and that's going to go on the front of your cup, and I am going to add a little bit of foam tape to the back of it to pop it up off the card, off the cup. Okay, so then you have your cup. And then this is going to go right here on the bottom of your cup. I'm going to line it up down here. And then this is, when I put this on, I'm going to make it so I can still slip my pocket in. So you don't want to glue it down here on the front of that pocket, on the front of the tag. I'm going to glue it down here at the bottom so that I can make sure that I can slide that tab into my cup. So I'm only going to put some foam tape on the bottom half of this cup. So it'll stand up just a little bit and won't get in the way of when we fold that flap over. Okay, so all I've done is I've added some foam tape here on the bottom, towards the bottom of the cup. Okay, and then I'm going to line the cup up on the bottom, kind of center it on the cup. Okay, so there it looks super cute, but it's not going to be in the way of this flap going into the cut on the front. Okay, and then that kind of goes, your little tag will just go like it's sliding right here inside your cup. So that is it. It's super cute, super fun, but they're easy to put together. These would make really cute things to give to teachers for the holidays. So go ahead and knock some of those out, or to co-workers, and you could get, you know, a $5 or $10 gift card at Starbucks, and you would have your gifts made, and they would be cute, really cute packaged. Okay, there you go. All right. I will be back with more videos. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel, and come join us over at the Let's Learn Cricut Explore Facebook group, where we have a lot of fun learning how to use our Cricut Explore, sharing and inspiring each other. Bye.